let's get started. So before I begin, I want to explain the difference between Western, or we call mainstream astrology, and Vedic astrology. I use Vedic astrology as my tool. There's a 30-degree difference, first of all. So sometimes your sign will stay the same across the platforms, and sometimes it won't, depending on how many degrees your main signs were in, in Western astrology. It goes off of the sidereal zodiac, meaning it moves with the constellations. It moves with the universe, okay? In layman's terms. And it's part of the Vedas. So it's not just astrology by itself. It's part of ancient texts. The Vedas encompass astrology and Ayurvedic medicine and all kind of other things that I'm not, privy to, but there's a lot more to the Vedas, okay? So this is why in your email, you're going to see information about your dasha. That's Ayurvedic medicine right there. It's your dasha is how your energy is set up, like how it operates. They've taken 5 elements and they've split them up into 3 categories. So and I give what I think is very important. So I always let people know what their most dominant dasha is, so that they can understand how their energy works as far as that's concerned. So you'll get resources for that in your email. Where should we start? Oh, well, we should definitely start by giving you your Vedic signs. So in Vedic astrology, you are a Leo sun, an Aries rising, and a Virgo moon. So your sun's over here, and your rising, of course, is here, and your moon is down here. Okay. So yes, Leo sun, Aries rising, Virgo moon. So let me look here. Your north and, are you familiar with the north and south nodes of the moon?
No.
Okay. So they're not planets. They're just like places, like energetic points. Okay. They pretty much show like what you mastered in a past life and what you incarnated here to do. But in Vedic astrology, your north and south node go by the name of Rahu and Ketu. Okay. So K2, which would be right here, and they're always going to be in retrograde. The nodes travel differently. They're never traveling forward. They always travel backwards. Or, yeah, you could say backwards compared to the other planets. With K2 down here, this is your past life mastery. And it happens to be in the sign of Leo, and it happens to be in your 5th house. Because you're an Aries rising, all the signs are in their houses that they naturally rule. Like if there was no birth data in your chart. So your past life mastery had a lot to do with Leo stuff. Okay. Being a leader, being center stage, going, like having hobbies, and also, what are we doing here? Because there's something, and part of this process is channeling, but also like you've got a past life where you were like either military or some kind of like police or something like that. Okay. So that's what's happening there in your 5th house. So you've already done it. So it's really easy for you to do it in this current incarnation. That's your default. It's really comfortable for you to be in that Leo energy. But what you came here to acquire knowledge of and to start practicing is Aquarian energy. Okay. And this is an axis. So it doesn't mean you have to throw this energy away. You should still use this energy, but you've got to combine it with the Aquarian energy. So you'll take the leadership, you'll take the whatever hobbies and things like that, and you'll bring it to the people. Because the
Yeah.
11th house rules, the 11th house rules organizations, your social network, things like that. And Aquarius is all about pouring that water out into humanity, you know, letting everybody know what's up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not
Yeah.
that's not going to be the easiest thing, like in your early life. That's not going to be the thing that you default to. So as you mature, like from the age 30, I could say 35 on, you'll start to run into people that are Aquarians, run into Aquarian type situations, 11th house type situations, where it will kind of trigger you to step into that Aquarian energy. This is the arrow, this is the tip of the arrow, and this is the feather part in the back. This is the direction you're supposed to be going. So a lot of people will say, like, this is your destiny. That Rahu is your destiny, which is all about, again, organizations, dealing with people, okay, social circles, going after your hopes, dreams, and wishes, okay, volunteering even.
Yeah.
Volunteering. And again, some of this is channeled because I can tell when when spirit wants me to say something. For you, it would be eventually, if you've never traveled overseas or volunteered overseas, there's a push for that as well. You know, just working with a group overseas. And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to look like that. Like, you don't physically have to go. You could be working remotely with a company that has an overseas connection too, you see.
Okay.
So
It's very interesting.
right here is interesting too. You've got Saturn. Saturn is your soul planet, but it's also on your ascendant. So you embody the energy of Saturn. Saturn is responsible. Saturn is not really privy to failure. It's like, no, failure is not an option. You embody this
Yes.
energy, and your ascendant affects your whole chart. Okay. This house,
Right.
whatever planet is in this house, is going to have an effect on your whole chart. So in all areas of your life, there's going to be some kind of discipline. There's going to need to be some kind of organization and management, you know, in order to reap the benefits from it. Okay. And
Yeah.
then right across the street, because we're on an axis, you always want to look across the street. That's what I say. You've got Jupiter and Venus in the 7th house. Okay, the 7th house rules all types of partnerships. A lot of people love to talk about love when they hit the 7th house, but it also rules the justice system and things like that. And you've got Jupiter and Venus here. So with the 7th house having Jupiter and Venus, there's this expansion when it comes to your partnerships. So for you, you did not come here just to get married and just be with your husband and your family and then not branch out and have like associates and things like that. You came here to expand on relationships. So you're even if you try to just keep it like, oh, you know, I just like to hang out with my family and that's it, or this certain group, for some odd reason Jupiter's always going to invite more connections. So for you, networking should be pretty easy.
Yes.
Networking is like, yeah. And
Yeah.
with Venus here, as long as everything is balanced and equal, you're straight, you know. And you,
Mm.
with the Venus there too, the love of beautiful things, aesthetics, you know.
Yeah.
So your partner is gonna not, you don't want a partner that's just looking raggedy.
Oh my gosh, this is so accurate, Josie. Oh my
so,
gosh.
so
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Mm.
what your seventh house is looking like, you know. And I bounce around. I bounce around because again, once you get the email, you're gonna get videos to show you how to search your own birth chart. Okay. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you this stuff, I'm literally just telling you what spirit wants you to know right away. But there's, again, you know, bit by bit, whenever you feel like it, you're going to go and you're going to do research on your chart. You know, it's about empowering you to do research and really dig into yourself to bring out the best version of yourself, of course.
Mm.
See
Mm.
here. Oh, ha. Very interesting. Okay. So you have a stellium. You're like the second person today that had a stellium. Okay. So you've got a stellium here in your sixth house. And a
Mm-hmm.
stellium is when you have 4 or more planets in one area of life. The houses represent the area of life. You've got the moon, Mercury, Uranus, and Pluto all in the sixth house. The sixth house, brief description, rules pets, health, your day-to-day routine, service to yourself and to others. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
your moon is there. So it's like with the moon and Mercury both being there, it's, that's what you think about, and that's what, how your mind works. So you may be the type of person that doesn't really make too many decisions based off of what you want right away. Like it's always, I got to think about how whatever it is that I'm about to do is going to affect everybody around me. Like you always think of the other first before you think of yourself. And your fifth house is saying, it's okay sometimes to think of you first and not worry about them. But that's just the way that you're set up. Like you want to make sure everybody's straight, because if everybody is okay around you, it helps you to enjoy yourself more.
Yes, Josie,
Yeah.
that is so true.
Yeah. So yeah,
Spot
that,
on.
with that
Yeah.
moon and that Mercury there, it's really solid in your mind,
Mm.
you know. And then what's
Yeah.
so funny is you've got Uranus and Pluto here, and that's a whole nother story. So this is quite interesting, because with Uranus and Pluto both there, I call those the volatile planets.
Mm.
Pluto, it destroys things in order to transform them. It's like fire, right?
Right.
And Uranus is just random. It's so random, and it's random in a huge way. So you've got those two energies sitting there as well. So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to day-to-day things, one day you may say, you know, you may feel, because the moon is there, and you may think, oh my God, I need to organize, I need to get a schedule, I need to make a list. And then other days you're like, whatever. You know, just whatever. I'm not even, I can't
Well,
be concerned, you know.
yes, that's so true as well. Oh
And
my God.
sometimes when you get frustrated, sometimes you will be Pluto. You, if you set up a system, let's say in your home or at work, if you've organized the bookshelf, if you've organized the kitchen, one day out of nowhere you will totally destroy, and I don't mean physically destroy like items, but you will change the whole organizational system. You'll change it.
Yeah.
It won't be, this is the way it is for eternity. No, you change it. So
Yes.
that's super cool. That's super cool. So what's going on in your fifth house though? Your fifth house, the sun is there. The sun and Leo go hand in hand. Okay. And the sun is also like indicative of your solar plexus chakra. And looking at
Right.
your fifth house, your will is very strong. Looking at your fifth house, because not only is the sun there, but Mars is there too. So
Okay.
you are motivated
Yeah.
in the fifth house area, which the fifth house rules hobbies, children. A lot of times, me personally, I like to say it rules things like college. Even though the ninth house is talking about higher learning, a lot of Leos take, it's not structured learning, but like college and things like that, Leos take that seriously. You know, you need to have an intellectual like backbone, to put it like that. So
Yeah.
you're motivated toward Leo themed things and fifth house themed things. So being a leader, and honestly, it will give you vitality when you take leadership positions. So try not to turn too many leadership positions down, because your health will be affected if you are constantly trying to hide from the spotlight. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Your Mars is there, so the way that you take action is in a Leo way, which can be it has two sides of a coin. they said well, you can throw a fit like a little girl to get things done, or you can be that strong leader, like you have those you know how to like get things done, whether you have to act a fool or you know.
Yeah. I know.
So I think that's funny. um
Yeah.
but yeah, do you have any questions so far, love? I don't want to be like yapping away.
Um, no, not really. Just taking it all in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just, we're in story mode, you know.
Mm. Mm.
So that's a little bit about your fifth house. Now what, and I'm kind of glad your planets are set up this way and they're not scattered all over the place, because then it won't take up so much time to talk about. But I'm looking at your eighth house. Your eighth house is interesting, you know. Let's see, let's back it up. Your abilities come from your fifth, your eighth, and your sixth house, just right off back, just looking at it. So any psychic abilities, any just gifts that you have would be prominent in your fifth, sixth, and eighth house. Your eighth house has Neptune in it. And it, you know, naturally Scorpio lives there, and it's there for you as an Aries ascendant. Neptune in Scorpio. If people didn't know you had a wild side, because Neptune is smoke and mirrors, people are not going to readily look at you and be like, oh yeah, you know, she's got a wild side. Neptune in Scorpio can be quite intense. Okay, like just my expressions, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're working with. So with Neptune being a planet that rules illusions, right? It also, because it's connected to Piscean energy, I like to call Neptune the planet of magic. Okay. It's a magical planet, but it's really it's only powerful if you give it power. Neptune requires you to really believe in yourself in order to use it. Okay.
Mm.
um with
Mm.
it in the 8th house, you've got the ability to pretty much like get information from people without them even knowing that you're getting information from them. Let's say someone did not want to tell you something.
Mm.
They were trying to keep something from you on purpose. Somehow, some way, you triggered them to tell you whatever it is. If they're lying, you trigger them to tell you the truth. If somebody lies to you, a lot of times based off of this placement, they'll come back later and tell you the truth. It's something about having to it's like a reckoning. It's interesting. You always find out. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know why they even bother, because you always find out.
This is true. This is true, Josie. Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
because the 8th house rules hidden things and detective like work, other people's money, like let's say like you own a business, people pay you for your services. That's an example of other people's money. When you get married and you share resources, that's the 8th house as well. And it also rules like loans and just resources in general, inheritances as well from when people pass, because it rules death as well, um, transformation and rebirth. A lot of what happens with you spiritually happens in the ethers, and just who can't
Mm.
talk today? And it comes through like a laser. It's like you've got some secret laser somewhere out there in the ethers, and
Mm.
it just shoots it right into your reality.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at. That's what they're showing me, this laser thing going on. Um so when it comes to gaining anything, or like when it comes to money matters, when it comes to anything you may need, it's very
Mm.
important to know that you're always going to be provided for. It's very important also to really, they said, be malleable. Neptune is also the planet of like a chameleon. It changes
Mm-hmm.
on every surface that it's on, and it's like you what it looks like is that you have to morph in order to bring in what you're trying to bring in. So you're always going to work from the inside out. You're always going to have to transform yourself in order to bring in what it is that you're after.
Mm-hmm.
That works really well for you. For a lot of other people, they have a hard time understanding and mastering my insides match my outsides. But for you,
Mm-hmm.
you are the temperance card. You are literally bringing the ethers
Yeah.
like most of the time. It's kind of how you
Yeah.
operate subconsciously. You're bringing stuff from out of the ethers into your world constantly, and you're because you're constantly transforming it on a subconscious level, you're not even aware of it. So it's not making you, tired, and you're thinking, oh my god, I gotta go through another transformation. It's not really a conscious thing. All of this is happening in the background. Do you see what I mean?
I do. Yeah. That's so true, Josie. That is, yes. I can't tell you how spot on that is. That's how I roll. And I'm just becoming more aware
Mhm.
of it. But you're right. If I had to put into words what I do, I couldn't explain it. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
your healing abilities, like
Mm.
Sometimes, I mean, honestly, you know how a lot of people go to school, they'll go learn Reiki, they'll get all these certificates, they'll go through this program. Your healing ability specifically doesn't really require you to go through all of that. It's so natural and it's
Oh,
so your
wow.
own. It's so unique, you see. I mean, and again, it's like a chameleon. It morphs. One day you
Mhm.
can do healing work on somebody just by sitting next to them and having a conversation. And another
Wow.
day you may feel like doing Reiki intentionally. And another
Mhm.
day you may just give somebody a hug and this energy just leaves them. I mean,
Oh,
it changes.
that is
So,
beautiful.
you know, it's
Mm.
definitely interesting because there's this
Mm.
huge theme of shape shifting. There we go. I could not figure out the word shape shifting.
Wow. Okay. Yep.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. And yes. Oh wow. Okay. So here we go with the channeling stuff. They say that the sun is within you. And I've pulled in your guides, I've pulled in my guides. I'm getting help from everybody. So that's who they are. And they say
Okay.
that the sun is deep within you. So if you could just imagine the depths of Scorpio, imagine death and being buried 6 feet under, yet
Mhm.
there's so much light down there. There's
Okay.
light down there. So, oh wow, they're gonna take it there. They got me doing the most. Okay. Let's say that was the case. Let's say somebody was buried 6 feet under, and the sun is within you. So you're down there, but you're in a park. You're not in a cemetery.
Mhm.
People will come to that spot and have their picnics. They'll be drawn to it and they'll be getting healed and they don't even know it because
Oh my
that's
goodness.
what that looks like. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, it's good. Oh my gosh, that almost made me cry.
Oh, you,
Oh, wow, that is
it's like
beautiful.
that. It's very deep and spirit is saying that anytime you need to replenish yourself, anytime you need to replenish yourself, art, any kind of
Mhm.
hobbies, singing, it could be anything. Get into it, take your time, take breaks, you know, let people know that you're not available. It's totally okay because they're gonna love you anyway. You know, that doesn't equate to the love that you receive from others at all. And anybody who attests to it, that is your truth. That's for you to see so that you can know who to have close to you and who to spend less time with. Okay.
Yes, yes, okay. Yeah, totally.
But yes, you've got some beautiful energy. Do you have a
Thank you.
garden? I'm seeing plants and things like that. Even if it's not a garden, you may have a lot of house plants or something.
I do. I have plants, but I love getting out into nature, Josie, and
Mm-hmm.
I love the ocean. But anywhere out in nature is where you'll find me. That's where I also replenish myself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. So you have the ability to grow things.
Hmm.
You could be given the worst material ever, just basic material. But because you put your hands on it or in it, it grows anyway. Um,
Oh,
so if you don't have fertilizer, if you don't have everything you need, no, it you can still do it anyway. And believe me, not everybody has that kind of green thumb. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Okay, so have you ever thought, because I'm just getting so much, have you ever
Mhm.
thought about taking nature? You know how they will press flowers and things like that, and then they'll set it in resin and make it earrings or make a necklace out of it.
Yes, no, I haven't really thought about that.
Yeah, look into that. That might be a fun thing that you might actually like to do. You have such,
Yes.
with that stellium in Virgo, you definitely have quite a bit of connection to nature as well. It is an earth
Mm.
sign. So yeah, you do have that connection with nature. And there's a purity. I almost did not say that, right?
Mm.
But there is a purity about you. Your energy
Mm.
is refined. There's a quality to your energy. Okay.
Mm.
So this is why sometimes your energy is preferred over someone else's. And again, that can be um
Mm.
you're okay. It's like if you are this rare thing, like let's say you know how somebody can really love a certain food, right? And they
Mhm.
can't help themselves. Anytime they're around it, they just go to town. Your energy is like that. So
Okay.
you've got to beware of people latching on to you, you know, because
Mm.
you probably attract some crazy folks, you know, and you just have
Okay.
to have grace with them and distance yourself, because they'll be fine at first and then all of a sudden they'll change and they'll get weird on you.
Yes, it happens, Josie. It happens.
Like, oh my God, you be careful out there.
Oh my gosh, this is
Wow.
it's so true. It does happen.
Because I'm looking at the energy setup and I'm listening and I'm watching what they're showing me. And I was like, oh dear, yes, your boundaries are very important.
Mm.
Because they
Yeah.
got you like this fairy, and you may have a very strong connection to the elemental kingdom. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
They got you out here like this fairy, and the essence is very refined. Okay, very refined essence. I don't believe I covered the stellium part, so I want to go back to your sixth house
Okay.
and talk about that stellium, because when you have four or more planets in a house, what that signifies is the fact that you have the ability, should you choose, to
Mhm.
revolutionize that area of life, not only for yourself, but for others. Okay. So you could
Okay.
invent something, you could do something that started off for yourself, and others will see what you did, and it will bring some kind of value to their life as well. Okay.
Mhm.
um and then on top, what's so funny is you already have the four planets there that have the ability to revolutionize that area of life, but then you got extra revolutionary energy there with Uranus sitting there. You know, it's like,
Okay.
bring on the revolution.
Mm.
So the personality is Virgo. The personality is, you know, Virgo belongs in the sixth house. So you could revolutionize how people are of service to others. You know, you could
Mhm.
revolutionize how people are of service to themselves. This could look like this could look like a business or some kind of service, where people are, yes, where
Mm.
people are
Mhm.
getting guidance on how to take care of themselves, because there's that Leo energy. Um,
Mhm.
they're getting guidance. You've created something that helps people learn how to take better care of themselves, right? Or you've
Okay.
created some kind of service that assists, you know, people in, like, the collective in being healthier. Like you're doing it for them in some kind of way. you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It could have something to do with pets, animals too, like anything that has to do with being of service. It could be to animals, being of service to people, helping people be of service to themselves. Um, and you
Mm-hmm.
could just organize stuff for people. You know how they have those services where the person will come and reinvent your closet?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
that's helping people as well. um
Mm.
so you've got quite a bit of like you've got your healing energy, but it doesn't necessarily have to look like it does in the light worker community where people are doing reiki and readings and things like that. It can still be
Mm.
exuded so many other ways. Like, I see you reading. Do you read?
Not a great deal.
No,
I
I
do
mean
read, but
books,
no.
like read books. Because I just realized what I asked you.
Yeah, I do. Not a great deal, but I do read. Yes.
Do
Yeah.
you prefer to read to other people or to just alone by yourself?
I don't mind. I don't mind. Both. Both I
Okay.
enjoy. Yeah.
Because that could be like, I could see you being of service reading to children in particular, because of all of these planets in your fifth and sixth house, there's this
Mm.
relationship between children and hobbies with organization and service, you see. So
Right.
yeah, I could,
Okay.
and they just showed you reading books and things.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be reading to children, you could be reading to the elderly, anybody, honestly. Really,
Mm. Okay.
they are saying that it is possible. Hmm. See, and I wouldn't have thought of that. This is why I love using my intuition when I'm looking at a chart, because I tell everybody and make sure everybody knows that I am not an astrologer. I have a Vedic astrologer that I refer people to. I get you as far as I can get you and get you prepared to go see an astrologer. So a lot of my work is intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
but it still goes, it's still relevant to what the astrologer is going to tell you anyway. Like, it still ends up being um a match, should I say. um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they say that you have the ability
Okay.
to write. Like, it could be spiritual, a spiritual book, it could be a fantasy book, it could be a manual, or even a self-help type book. Like, but you would be able to do that and actually benefit from it. Okay, so just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even have to be this huge task that you take on. It could be a small ebook just to start off with, so you can see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um but yeah, you've got that ability there. um
Wow.
you know what, and I was
Mm-hmm.
wondering, I was like, why? Well, why is it coming through this way? Because Saturn in your first house. Remember, I told you Saturn is going to affect
Yes.
everything. So there
Yes.
are some things that you're reluctant to do or even try to do because of the workload, because of the process. Okay. And
Yes.
Saturn is just going to keep bringing it up until you do it. It's like, it's like your mom or your dad saying, "Do your homework." Okay, you got to get this homework's not going anywhere. You got to get it
Yes.
done. Oh my
Okay.
goodness. Okay, so because of your date of birth, I pulled your other chart. I only use the D1 and the D9 charts. So because of your date of birth, I pulled your D9 chart. This chart, I only look at this chart when I'm getting asked questions about love, like who am I going to marry, or career, like, you know, what should I be like doing. But you have to be past, you have to be at a mature age. This chart only kicks in at a certain age. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I look at this chart, and you know, you don't have to be in a relationship now or anything like that. I'm just gonna generally speak from what your chart says. Your natural partner is going to have Sagittarius energy. I don't like to say, oh, they're going to be this sign. I like to say that they're going to have that energy. Your natural partner is going to have Sagittarius energy. And also because in Vedic astrology, Jupiter is the husband. You've got Jupiter in Sag here. So that's double, you know, hey, your husband, your partner is gonna have Sag energy there. Even if it's not one of their three main signs, it's gonna be somewhere in their chart. For men, they look at the Venus. Okay. So that was really cut and dry. I was looking right at it and did not expect it. Now, when it comes to career, because again, before your Saturn return, before your midlife crisis around the age 30, you may be hell-bent on being one thing, you know, oh, I'm going to be a doctor, and you may become a doctor. And then all of a sudden, when you turn 30, you decide to go and create a rock band and walk away from being a doctor. This is where that chart kicks in. You see what I mean? So sometimes some people are way off of their path, and some people are really, they don't have to make those dramatic changes. So for you, what your career looks like, where are you? Again, you've got that healing energy going on for your career. You've got Pisces in the 10th house. All of your money houses are water signs. So whatever career that you do is definitely going to have some intuitive thing to it. You've got Scorpio in the 6th house. So again, and your Venus is there. So that's saying whatever career you choose, make sure you're being of service, make sure you're using your intuition, and of course, make sure you're doing something that you love. Okay? With Pisces in the 10th, we're talking about creativity, bringing creativity to the public seeing you as creative, right? With Cancer in the 2nd house, when it comes to your things, your physical, like your assets, your valuables and things like that, making sure that you take care of things and make sure you nurture your stuff. Okay. With Cancer in your 2nd house, there is a nurturing aspect that you are going to be bringing into the 6th house. That's interesting. They're showing me, and I don't know why I keep pointing. I'm supposed to be using my mouse. They're showing me that you're going to take this nurturing Cancer energy, right? And you're going to deposit it down here into your 6th house. So there's a nurturing aspect to the way that you do your work. There's a nurturing aspect when it comes to your service. And it's very important to you, and it's very transformative to the other, to anybody that you're coming in. It transforms them. Your nurturing energy is transforming them when you are being of service, when you're doing whatever kind of work that you do that you love. And from the outside in, the general public is looking at you like you're made of magic because Pisces is sitting there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
People will generally see you as a lucky charm of some sort, just you make things look effortless. And you
Oh.
work just as hard as everybody else. But they just don't see it because, again, there's that illusion.
That's
So
lovely.
it'll be really easy for people to think that you have things easy, and you may have a little jealousy because of that, but I wouldn't even don't even let it get to you. Over here in your house of actual gains, this is the house of your hopes, dreams, and wishes. This is the house of, money just coming to you from any and everywhere, right? Especially your social circle and your networking circles. You've got Aries there. And Aries is telling you to stand up for yourself, because with Pisces in the 10th house, you look like an easy target to bully. So when you are doing business, or if you are anytime you're dealing with money, the exchange of money, you're going to have to be upfront and be very clear about what it is that you expect in return for your services. That way, they don't try to do that thing that people do with Piscean energy, try to take advantage. Okay. But another message that Spirit is saying is, and this is gonna sound blunt. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. They're saying don't be naive. And that's easier said than done. When they say don't be naive, though, what it means is don't want something so bad, because that Aries energy can be like that. Don't want something so bad that you allow your energy, they are taking it there. Don't want something so bad that you allow someone else to take your energy and use it against you. I see someone feeding off your energy and then creating an illusion and projecting it back at you in order to get what they want. Like, it's like a flip. So be aware of that. Okay.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Interesting. But yeah, that's generally, all I usually cover with the D9 chart. There's 26, I believe, 26 divisional charts in Vedic astrology. So
My
I'm
goodness.
like, no, not today. But now we get to talk about your numerology.
Okay.
This is the fun part. I love when I get my master numbers. I collect 11s. I have so many 11 clients. It's awesome. But your life path is number 3. And when I do the little explanation, the little blurb when I do the little blurb for the 5 core numerology numbers, what I do is I do them in a certain order so that I can explain them properly. Your life path is your past life mastery. It's things that come easy for you in this incarnation. Okay. So I call your life path your toolbox. You came here with a toolbox, and that toolbox happens to be the number 3, the very inspirational, fun and life of the party number 3. That is your life path number. The number 3 energy loves nice things, not because it's conceited and just has to have nice things because it brags, but no, it just loves, it appreciates just like a Libra would, appreciates the beauty in things. You'll
Yes.
find that number 3 energy out, when the number 3 energy is out with people, you're just being yourself, but you'll find that people will be thanking you because you may have a silly moment. And when you have that silly moment, it gives permission for the people around you to be silly because they're too busy trying to be adults. And you know, they just, and oh, this is a big one for the number 3. The number 3 energy, you'll notice that when you meet people, you don't even have to know them. You'll have a conversation with them and they'll be like, oh my God, I feel so good, or I feel so much better. Even if you're not even counseling, that they just feel better. You know, you're inspiring and uplifting. And that's what that number 3 is for. And it's all about expansion too. It likes to do things on a big scale as well.
Okay.
I'm like, guess who's getting tired? Okay. So with the number 4 energy, that's your birthday number, number 4. That is a gift that you received on the day you were born that is pretty easy for you to use. And it goes in your toolbox with your life path number 3. The birthday number 4 is a stable, grounded number. It's what you would think about if you were thinking Capricorn energy, right? The
Okay.
birthday number 4 is associated with management, the manager at your job, the manager, or a small business owner. Okay. That 4 energy is all about one brick at a time, step by step. And it's really concerned about a solid foundation. It wants to make sure things are done properly the first time because it's thinking about longevity. Okay.
Yes.
So that 4 goes in the toolbox with your life path number 3. Then we have your soul. Who are you? Who are you on the inside? The person that you don't readily express, the real you, like in there. That is a number 6. This is a person that wants a relationship, wants a harmonious home, is very intuitive. Okay. Like the number 6 rules relationships. It rules harmony and balance. It rules intuition as well. What else does the number 6 rule? And it does rule service as well. Okay. That's who you are on the inside, but how you bring it out, how do you express the true you, is going to be brought out by your expression number, or we should say destiny. They're interchangeable. Your destiny or expression number is how you're going to bring that number 6 energy out. And in order to be that number 6 on the outside of yourself, you're going to have to express yourself as the number 8. That number 8 is all about real estate. It's all about making them big bucks. Okay. Work smarter, not harder. The number 8, of course, rules infinity, manifestation. You have the ability to make large amounts of money. Okay.
Okay.
Just make that real clear to you. Like you do have the ability to make large amounts of money because you've got that birthday number 4 and you've got that 8. You're going to make sure that there's some kind of stability, right? So that number 8 is asking you to take risks. That number 8 is saying you're not meant to just be the manager at this place. You're meant to own not just one, business, but you're meant to have that what you see on the internet and stuff, how they talk about having 7 streams of income, things like that, and how they talk about manifesting with the law of attraction, you're meant to have multiple streams of income. You're meant to have property. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
However you want that to look for you. And, you know, once you start actually taking calculated risks, okay, we're not talking about just gambling. No, we're talking about assessing the risk and knowing that you can do bigger, that you can have more. Once you start doing that, then your intuition will strengthen, because it's stepping up to the plate for that challenge. Your intuition will strengthen. You will experience more harmony in your life, and you'll bring in, if you are single, you'll bring in people that match your vibration of where you actually want to be and not where you are now, because they won't be just partners, but they will continue to help you get to the top. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yes.
And after all of that, you reach your maturity number somewhere in your late 50s. That's when this energy will be prevalent. And your maturity number happens to be 11, like mine.
Wow.
This is a very special number to me, but it's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like thinking about it, because, you know, sometimes I'm lazy. So after all of what I just told you,
Mm.
you've got this spiritual teacher to the collective energy. So
Right.
after all of this stuff that you establish, after you establish your home and everything, and you got all these businesses or whatever you're gonna do, then what's so funny is, it's like, once you settle down, then you're like this spiritual teacher. You see what I
Okay.
mean?
Yes.
It's the higher octave of 2. Okay, so
Mm.
2 is, it rules partnerships, and it rules they tell me the coming together. It's like 2 is the interaction of Aries and Libra. There's the I, and then there's the us, right?
Mm.
Anything that has opposition that needs to be brought together, right? So
Mhm.
you've got that 2 energy, and then you've got the higher version of it. The 2 wants to master relationships. Once that happens, then it wants to go into collective consciousness. It's like, okay, well, I've been in relationships and I've got friends and all this and that. Now I want to expand that into the whole collective. So
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
gets it's interesting. The 11 is highly intuitive. Okay, and this energy can show up for you sooner than your 50s, but it's just not going to be as potent, because what the maturity number 11 is telling you is that you're going to reach the zenith of your abilities by the time you're in your 50s. How fun is that?
Mm. Oh my goodness.
That's why I said
Okay.
it's heavy, because by the time
Yeah.
you're in your 50s, you thought you were intuitive, you thought you were a healer, you're going to be something else. So
Wow.
whenever I see the 11, I'll be like, come here, baby, let me give you a hug. Because it's a lot of it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's not a lot of work, because spirituality, usually with 11s, spirituality happens to them. It's not something that the 11 goes out doing. Even though 11s can be seekers, a lot of the spiritual experience happens to them, and then they have to respond.
Yes. That's what is happening to me, Josie. Yeah. It
It's
really
just
is.
not easy.
Mm. Mm.
But hey, um you know, people want to be superheroes and they want to have all these abilities and things like that, and you know, the end result is always going to be great, but imagine what you have to do to get there. Imagine all of these DNA activations the taking the physical body with you through the ascension process. I feel like the person that would have the most intimate relationship with that process is the 11, because it's a very physical thing too. It's not just, oh, let me meditate. No. Oh God, no. We go through a lot with this 11 energy, and the 11s are highly misunderstood because they're far ahead of their time. That 11 also represents the far-seeing Uranus, the far-seeing Aquarian energy, I mean. And then with the 11 as well, after so much time of just trucking along, all of a sudden out of nowhere, this huge event happens. We all have multiple awakenings, but the 11s, what happens is you'll have this huge initial awakening, then you'll have little awakenings, and then you'll have another huge awakening, and then you have little because that's what it does.
Yes, that's what happens to me, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly
And
right.
some days you're like, well, how am I supposed to be responsible? How am I supposed to build all of this stuff when some days I'm stuck in the closet, wrapped up, because I think my soul is just going to walk right out of my body? Like, it makes it hard to be consistent. And when you get your email, you're going to learn so much more about it, because there is a real fight between responsibility and freedom with the 11. This is why my kids don't live with me full time. I can't be Josie energy. I can't be eccentric if I have my kids full time. I had to just come to terms with that. And I need the village, because what the 11 holds a lot of energy. You're here to literally walk around getting energy on people. This is why you have such profound downloads. You're like a beacon. You're like a radiator, literally. You don't have to do anything to activate somebody. You can just be there. So, yeah. But you're powerful.
Wow, Josie, and I get told that a lot, and I'm sort of, I'm so far along in my ascension process, but like you say, every now and then I have these downloads, and it's hard for me to understand what's going on, and then but then I have people reaching out to me for help, with and guidance and things like that, and I'm not out there as any type of healer or person or doing any sort of spiritual work, but and they all say, oh, my intuition led me to you, can you help me? And of course I try and help them, but I've always thought about getting into doing something for the collective anyway. But I just try and help where I can up till now. But my mind is going there to do some sort of healing, to put myself out there in some way.
Oh, and after you've explored this email, you're going to have more of an idea of how you would like to serve, because you'll be able to have more detail and put the pieces together.
Yeah. Sounds great.
I got all kind of look. I'm like, what is, but it's because I'm slamming large amounts of water at once. I have to do that when I'm channeling. I don't like the way the friction feels, because I feel it on a cellular level. And I'm like, But yeah, all I need to do is get your email to you in what is today. I already have one to do. I'm going to stop traveling. You're probably going to get yours on Monday. That way I don't overwhelm myself. But
take your time, Josie, whenever you're ready.
So yeah, that's pretty much how this looks. And now is the time. If you have any questions, you can ask me, and I'll tap in the spirit and you know, or if you just want general messages, I can do that too.
Okay. Well, firstly, Josie, I get contacted by galactic beings. Like I see crafts, and I get contacted. I think they may be the Palladians. I'm not sure,
I hear
but
Lyrian.
Lyrians. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and they give me telepathic messages sometimes, but not always. Sometimes I just receive like this. I don't know if it's an activation or download, but I am bouncing off the walls that day.
Yeah.
And I'm so full of energy and so full of love, and I'm vibing so high, you know, and yeah, I just sort of wonder, you know, what it's all about.
Well, part of it is from Lyra, and then you're also getting energy from Sirius as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I don't even know where I don't know where Sirius is, like if it's part of a constellation. I don't even remember, but that those are the two names that come up. That's where that energy is coming from. So it's very important that when you have those days that you consciously ground,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do things like, of course it forces you to have to move, but exercising, wearing amethyst, and other grounding crystals as well, and laying down, like if you take a sheet and lay directly on the earth and
Mm-hmm.
ask Gaia to help you with
Mm-hmm.
all of that energy. That is also a way to
Mm.
do it. Um, you want to know why, like what is it for?
Yes,
What is the purpose?
yes, please.
Yes, be really, you're being stretched. It just sounds weird to say that. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? You gonna tell her that? You are being stretched. Again, you came here to be able to hold a larger light quotient than some other people, you know. um you're like you're like a battery. You're like
Mm.
a They're showing me when you fill up a water balloon, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't tie it. You fill it up, it gets full, and then you slowly let the water out, and then you fill it up again. This is what they're showing me.
Okay.
um because yes, they want to remind you that every step you take on this earth, you're sharing energy with the planet. And for you, that extra energy spills out onto the planet and helps the planet as well. Okay.
Right.
So, again, in order to cycle that excess energy, because it's excess energy, after
Mm.
you've integrated, everything's fine, but there's this extra energy that your body's like, no, I can't do this. Again,
Mm.
ask Gaia, because it was meant for Gaia. it was
Right.
it's not just for you. The energy's coming into you. It's supposed to get on other people, and it's supposed to get on Gaia. You see?
Mm.
So you're like this
Yes.
sprinkler going
Wow.
around. and
Wow.
and it morphs, it changes, because like the energy is carrying information. So when it comes into you, it's interacting with your body one way, but when it's being radiated out from you to other people, it's interacting in their bodies a different way. And when it goes down into Gaia, it's interacting differently as well, because it's cosmic intelligence.
Mm.
You
Mm.
see? um
Okay.
these channeled messages, are you writing them down? They want you to write them down, like to keep a diary. It doesn't matter if it's just a word, a shape, or whatever, just write it down.
Okay. Okay. Um, it's usually the couple of times that I have had messages. It's just been something personal for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're probably telling me other things, but I'm not so, I'm so overwhelmed at the time by seeing these beautiful light ships and whatever that I'm seeing in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just taking it all in. And, but occasionally I will hear a personal message from myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they've really been, just personal. But I find that if I try and think it, then I just lose it. So I have to just sort of try and remind myself just to get over what I'm seeing and
Mm-hmm.
just let it flow and take in the message.
So it's whatever you remember. They want you to be in the experience, but whatever you remember from the experience, just write it down.
Okay.
Because the purpose is for you to go back and look at some of these things, because some of the information that you get, even if it's personally for you, sometimes
Mm.
it doesn't fully make sense, because things have to happen and you have to go back and look at it for it to fully make sense. It's kind of like keeping a dream journal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
What am I looking at? Um, do you okay, so crystals. Do you keep any like around your bed, under your bed?
I've got some near my bed. Yeah, I've got quite a collection.
Okay, so what they are saying is um, take the crystals to another room. You can have the crystals. You need specific crystals. There's something
Okay.
that you asked for. You might have asked for more information, or you might have asked for more contact. They're trying to accommodate you.
Yeah. Okay.
So they want selenite under your bed,
Uh-huh.
but that's all you need. But the other crystals are going to have to go either in the closet or in another room.
Right.
Interesting. Because I saw your bed glowing and I was like, what am I looking at? I was like, okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So, yes, that is how. Because the vibration needs to be high, but it needs to be, they say, singular. Okay. And because of
Mm-hmm.
your energy, like you and selenite, that y'all are, again, it's like this refinement going on here.
Yeah.
So when the selenite is under your bed and you're sleeping, right, the
Mm-hmm.
energy of the selenite, this is how they got me explaining this, it'll go through you
Mm.
and it'll mesh with your energy, and it will connect to the beings that you're trying to contact. And
Right.
that's when you'll get the dreams. That's when you'll get more contact even after you leave the bed. It's kind of like a magnifier or an antenna situation. That's when you'll start to gain more contact, because yes, it replenishes you when you get back in the bed from the day, and it meshes with your energy so that you are able to have the dreams that you need to have. So, of course, record them. I usually email my dreams to myself from one of my email accounts to the other, because sometimes they're just too much, and I use voice to text.
Mm.
Um, but yes, you're gonna have dreams, and you're gonna have more experiences like you already have. Um, but it's kind of like a wand, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
it also refreshes your energy so that nothing gets in the way. That's what they were saying. They want to get the it's kind of like making sure you can hear that channel clearly, to where there's no
Okay.
disruption.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's wonderful. I am having um, more activity in my dreams lately, a lot
Mm-hmm.
more. Um, but when I see the crafts, it's like physically, like either
Mm-hmm.
very early in the morning
Mm-hmm.
or at night. But lately, excuse me, you're right, JC, because in the astral realms, things are happening. very much so the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll definitely do that because my crystals are near my bed, so I'll move them, the rest of them.
Yeah, because there's too much energy going every which way for different reasons. Of course, they're different crystals. They have different properties and crystalline structures, they
Yeah,
say.
okay.
It's so sometimes I really enjoy listening to the way that the higher beings speak, because they all they all have their way of talking. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Mm, for sure.
I think we're pretty good where we are here. Um, I'm going to be here for probably another hour waiting on this video to render. So I'm like, if I make it too long, I'm gonna be here forever waiting for it to save to my computer. But I thank you so much. There's some love energy going on here. It's a heart chakra thing. It's just delicious.
Yeah, I can feel that too, Josie. I'm just feeling so high right now. I love your energy. I just adore it. I swim in it all
That's why I
day.
keep closing my eyes. I'm trying not to dip out on you. I'm over here like, that's why
You
I'm
are
like, oh no,
absolutely
I've
gorgeous.
gotta go ahead and end this video because I'm like zoning out.
Oh,
But I
thank you
thank you
so much.
so much. Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate it because people really do need to understand what happens in these sessions.
Yes, I totally understand. And thank you so much. This has been absolutely fantastic. I really
Yay!
appreciate it. And you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Josie.
Thank you, love. Have a good, I don't even know. What is it over there? Is it
About
daytime?
10 past 2 in the afternoon.
Okay,
So
yes. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to have a good evening. It's 9:10 here. But
lovely.
love to you, optimal health to you, and I can't wait to hear about what happens. I'm always excited to get feedback. So, yay!
I'll definitely let you know. Thank you so much again, Josie. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.